Good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, wherever you're joining us from. We're excited to have you here. Welcome to What's New in Privacy Management. My name is Emily Podasky. I'm a product marketing manager here at ServiceNow, and today I am joined with Pramod Chandra, our senior manager, product marketing of our privacy and compliance products. Pramod, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Emily, for the quick intro. Yeah, I'm Pramod. I'm from the product management. I handle privacy as part of my product portfolio. Happy to see you all here.
Yeah. Well, Pramod has a lot of great features and functionality and enhancements to show us today. So not going to keep you very long, but I do have a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. First off, you are on mute today, but that doesn't mean you can't ask questions. We do have a Q&A feature where you can continue to ask questions throughout the session. We will be doing a Q&A session towards the end of the webinar. So please put those in as we go, and then we will answer them in the order that we receive them. If we run out of time and we don't get to your questions, we will follow up with you offline to make sure that that is answered. Also, this session is recorded. It will be available on the ServiceNow community forum and our YouTube channel. So check it out. We're going to be talking about some really cool stuff today. So make sure you take a look at that, share it out, and reference it back because you're going to want it later. And after the session's ended, you will probably be prompted to fill out a short survey. If you could do that for us, we would love that. We want to continue to make these as valuable as possible, and we really appreciate your input. So with that, exciting news. All of what you see today is now available up on the ServiceNow store. So you don't have to wait. You can go ahead and get it today. Just let us know. And today wraps up the last in our What's New series. So in case you've missed any of our great sessions around the updates on our products, business continuity, third party, compliance and audits management, all of these recordings are available up on the community forum and our YouTube channel. So highly recommend checking out. We've got some really great stuff going on. So, and with that, and without further ado, I will hand it over to Pramod.
Thank you, Emily. I'm going to share my screen right away, and we'll get started. Awesome. Can you all see my screen? Emily, can you confirm?
Yes, I can.
Excellent. So we are going to talk about privacy and what we released as part of our Xanadu release. So we have two key features that we are going to cover. One of them is an almost a module as part of the solution itself that we included from this release onwards. So the first one, starting with data lineage, it's going to help you understand how the data is flowing across various processing activities, systems, vendors, and many other things that you are associating from a data flow standpoint. And we also have another functionality to track regulations or regulators to understand which regulator from a privacy standpoint are you dealing with. And in case you want to communicate with them, how do you go about communicating with them with regards to maintaining them as a repository and all of that. That is one aspect. And last, a chat collaboration, which will help you work with the privacy team or where privacy team can also work with the business users on various aspects such as privacy assessments or be it a privacy case or even the personal data rights, which is the new functionality, and which will help all these teams come together, resolve scenarios quite easily. In addition to that, like I mentioned, personal data rights is the new module that we are releasing as part of our Xanadu release. It's going to help you manage your DSAR kind of requests coming in. With that, let's switch into the details and understand what are these functionalities. Starting with data lineage, like I mentioned, this is a functionality which is on the processing activity, connecting various other factors such as be it an application or a process or a vendor to help you how data flows together. So That is one functionality that we are going to deep dive today. And the next one is going to be the chat collaboration. Think of a scenario where a privacy case comes in and you are in interactions with various other key stakeholders, such as security team, right? Quickly, you can initiate a chat, or even security team can initiate a chat, maybe from a breach assessment or maybe from a privacy case kind of a record, and you can resolve any kind of questions that needs to be addressed instantly. This is applicable even for privacy assessments, and we will see an example of privacy assessment as we get into the demo side of things. So with these two functionalities, what we will do right now is we'll switch to the demo. We will see these functionalities in live. And then as the second half of the presentation, we will deep dive into personal data rights functionality. With that, switching to the product to showcase data lineage first. So like I mentioned, data lineage is primarily coming from an aspect of understanding how the data is flowing. So there are two aspects to it on how the data is collected. One is on the processing activity. We have introduced a new functionality like hierarchy, where you can capture where the data is coming from and where the data is being sent to. While you do this and map these particular elements to where the data is coming from and going to, right? It gives you configurability not just within the processing activity, but across various other aspects as well, which means, let's say in this scenario, I'm clicking create here to see that I wanted to associate something where the data is being sent to. I can choose to which to which relationship here I need to pick. Let's say in this case, it could be a process or an application or even a processing activity, and then map a particular record. So in this case, let's assume if I select a processing activity, I can specify what is the relationship. It needs to be sending data to, or it contains, and then provide the needed details. So this is again an option where you're capturing details in this specific view, but also what it provides is an entire visual view for this. So if we go to the data lineage right button here, it's going to show you overall how the data lineage is from an overall visual aspect. Over here, you get to see the home node, highlighting that this is a processing activity of nature business application, and the risk score is highlighted here based on the criticality assessment that is done, and based on various risk assessments that are done on this processing activity are highlighted right here. What you also see is an immediate relationship from where the data is coming from, and overall originally where all of these things are originating from a parent relationship node here. Right. So to understand more details about these particular records, you can click on them. On the right, you get to see a quick panel where there are specific details, which again highlighting what is the purpose of this particular processing activity, owner, and so specific details are given like compliance score. Are there any critical open issues? That is one aspect. In addition to that, you also get to see what are all the kind of personal data elements like information objects and their data types and lawful basis related information right here. Similarly, while you're in this view, not just for the home node, you can click on the other nodes to see a similar data, which is highlighted right here, right? So the way in which you can also use this particular visualization is not just viewing them, but also add relationships right from here itself. For instance, if I go here to HR onboarding, I can create a relationship or remove a relationship right from here. Clicking on it, in this case, I'm going to define the hierarchy as data being sent to and select the data. In this case, I'm just selecting for the purpose of demo, a processing activity and relationship as data sent to. And let's say I apply a quick filter saying HR and then select, let's say, HR database as an example. So the moment I select that, if you notice, HR database has got associated with HR onboarding right here, but not just that, it also brought in HR web, which was originally connected to HR database earlier, right? So what we do as part of this entire relationship is not just to bring the relationship, immediate relationship, but also if it has further connections from a data flow standpoint, we bring those things together. And that's how overall you will see from a parent node standpoint here. If you go to the human resource as a parent node and look for its data lineage, it will bring you the overall map on how various processes or applications are connected. And not just that, it also highlights which of those are critical in nature based on the risk assessments that are done, so that you can click on those individual records to understand what is with regards to this particular individual records from a privacy risk and compliance posture standpoint. So that's a quick view on how the entire data lineage is going to help you with regards to maintaining the data flow, or even understand how data flow is happening across various processes or systems in place.
Great. We have a couple questions if you have a minute.
Yep,
First
sure.
up, would this be similar to the entity workbench upstream, downstream, but held as a processing activity?
Yeah, the concept wise it is similar, but it is not as same, because in the processing activity we are primarily managing the aspects which are relevant for from a privacy point of view, or the ones that are processing personal data. In the entity workbench, which is in the context of IRM, integrated risk management product, where every other connections are established, and it could be across various other regulations. But what we show here with regards to privacy in the processing activity is purely from a personal data and personal data related data flow aspects. That's a great question. Thank you for asking.
Sure. Next question, would this replace the workbench for entity class?
No, entity class will have its own specific workbench. Right now, this functionality, what you see here, is specific to privacy module or the privacy product.
Great, thank you. Last one, and then we need to get moving on. Can I update the data lineage automatically from the CMBD service map?
Yeah, so at present, we start with a manual activity. However, we have behind the scenes where with a script you can update it as long as you know which of those CMDB elements are relevant from a privacy point of view. So we have hooks behind the scenes for you to take the CMDB elements, the right ones, and provide here as a map with when you know which of those are relevant across the service map, which of those are relevant from a personal data standpoint.
Great. Actually, we just had another one come in. I think you're going to like this one. Are CIs from the CMDB associated to these data sources?
Absolutely, that is right. And that is what you are seeing right here. This is an entity connecting to the business application, and we have a connection right behind onto which business application this is connected to. Same thing right here as well. So what you see right now over here are the ones that are directly connected. And not just that, as you may see here in this example, maybe we have used wherever there is a processing activity or an entity, but you can even directly connect an application or a processing or a business process or a company which doesn't even have entity or processing activity. So you can connect them directly as well. And that is where I was trying to show here in this case, when you try to create a relationship in here, let's assume I select Data Center, right? You can directly connect a vendor or a company, and that shows up right here.
Excellent. Great questions, everyone. Keep them coming. We're going to move on to the next update, but we will circle back and get to the rest of your questions at our ending Q&A session. So, Pramod, take it away.
Thank you. One last question I'll take. I think I see it already coming in. Are there any configurations for the cards that we see at present? No, but yeah, at present there are no configurations, but we keep open on the feedback to see how best we can open it up for configurations as well. But in the current version, there are no configurations. Cool. With that, let's switch to the other functionalities that we have within the privacy. So I'm going back and going to talk about another functionality that is the discuss button. For the discuss button, what I will do is, in this case, I have mimicked a scenario where we have sent a privacy impact assessment to a user. It is work in progress. So let's log in as Val and mimic a scenario on while Val working on a privacy impact assessment or a privacy assessment, how he can leverage or discuss functionality to quickly initiate a conversation by opening up a chat. So I'm switching to Val's window. Right now, what you see is Val's inbox where he have various assessments assigned to him. He's going to launch the privacy impact assessment. And as part of this particular assessment, he can take the assessment by clicking on this particular button. So there are various questions that are asked as part of this particular assessment. And as Val gets to start answer all of these things, some of these things is already answered. Maybe he has a question at a particular state. What he can do is instead of coming, he can come back to the privacy assessment and initiate a discussion right from here and say that I want to talk to Josh and start the discussion and say that, hi, Josh, and tag them and then say, need help with right. Now, this is a quick way for the business users who are answering the assessments or even privacy case for that matter, or even any other solution within the privacy, right? When they're working on these things, they can initiate a discuss option like this. And on the other side, Val would see a notification coming in the ServiceNow interface. And Val can see these details and Josh can see these details and respond to Val in the scenario. Now, all these conversations as we talk also gets recorded in the activity stream so that we can go and refer these discussions that were done so that it is tracked in the overall record in the context of that particular assessment itself. So that's a quick preview of the Discuss functionality that we just released, which will help you collaborate with your business as a privacy team to get these questions resolved quickly. Now, like I said, this is enabled. If I just go switch to the product presentation, it is enabled for privacy assessments, processing activity, privacy case, and the personal data rights as well, which we're going to see in a shorter while.
Excellent. We have a couple questions for you. This does not leverage the smart assessment feature for assessments, does it?
No, not yet. And we are tracking that as part of our roadmap.
And what roles would Josh need if he is not related to the record already? Would he still be notified via email or some other way?
Yeah, so the roles are usually the privacy specific roles that are needed. If not as well, they just need to be a user within the ServiceNow. That way they get notified. And these notifications can be sent in two ways. One, like within ServiceNow, what you saw, that is one way of notification. And as well, there is an integration with Microsoft Teams as well. So when you send a chat message from the ServiceNow, it will go and create a group within Microsoft Teams and from there someone can respond as well. So it's a cross collaboration across platforms as well. So from a Microsoft Teams, you can respond, and on the other hand, an employee from the ServiceNow is also responding it using the chat who initiated it.
Right. Along those lines, does it have any integrations with Microsoft Teams or Slack, or do we expect the user to be on the ServiceNow system to respond?
Yeah, it has an integration with Microsoft Teams, and there are respective documentation as well in our ServiceNow documentation on how to integrate with Microsoft Teams, so we can leverage that and take it forward.
Excellent. All right. Again, great questions, guys. Keep them coming. But we're going to move on to our next update, which is my favorite. I'm so pumped about this. Parod.
Personal data rights.
That's right.
Yes, let's get in. So, with regards to the personal data rights, what we have done is this is a brand new module that we have released as part of Xanadu. This was there as an innovation lab release in the previous version, and now we have opened it up for the general market as a general availability. So here are the key highlights of this particular solution, right? So personal data rights comes with specific roles. Again, there's a requester, there's a PDR agent, PDR manager, PDR data owner, and admin, various roles coming in. I'm going to explain those roles in a minute. And there is an intake aspect from where the requests are coming, and there's a workflow aspect on how are we receiving this PDR requests and managing the tasks related to these PDR requests with various other data owners who are managing the systems. And there is a dedicated workspace for this particular functionality. So it is not clubbed with the privacy management workspace, but it is a dedicated workspace so that if there are front-end agents who supporting privacy team, they can be provided with this dashboard, with this landing page, and a separate workspace, and they need not be provided the entire privacy workspace, which may have a lot more sensitive data where the first line who is managing these requests need not see. So with that, let's look into the details on how this particular module is going to help us. So personas, definitely requester. These are the individuals who are having an engagement with an organization, and they are more concerned in general about where's my data, how's my data being used, and various concerns related to the data, right? And they are the ones who are generally coming and raising these requests. And PDR agent or a manager is from the privacy team, front-ending the requests that are coming in and making sure these requests are coming in and they are being triaged, they are being followed up within the right time, making sure the deadlines and SLAs are met, right? So they are more concerned about how the requests are being handled and are they being handled as per the regulatory obligations. There's a PDR data admin who manages the data for various systems that they own. So they get the further requests or tasks from the PDR agent or a manager, and their concerns are, can I handle large volume of data, that corrections wise, how fast I need to correct this data, right? What are the SLAs that I need to meet? All of those aspects and communication aspects to the PDR manager or the agent, those are the concerns that PDR data admin would share. And lastly, the privacy team, right, who wanted to oversee how the overall personal data rights or the DSAR requests are being managed so that it is compliant with various other global regulations which are demanding this particular obligation. So here is a quick flow that you see on how the overall solution would look like. A requester can raise a request, could be from various options. They can have a public facing form, which may be in their website, or it could be a phone call that can come through. These are the two external sources, and the public facing form can be integrated with our APIs, or even an email can be sent. And with all these various sources, based on the user validation, what we do is we create a request, right? So from an out-of-the-box standpoint, we provide email as an option to intake and as well as APIs so that you can integrate these APIs with your public-facing form and you can validate the user manually. And finally, you can create a personal data rights request. Once the personal data rights request gets created, it has various workflow states here. One is the new state, where this state is going to help us understand how many requests are not yet being started with or not yet been picked up by any of the agent. And there is a verification approval step. This could be various scenarios, such as maybe the request is coming from a resident from a specific location where there is no such regulatory obligation which needs not be processed, or maybe it is coming from a requester who may have a legal obligation with the organization. So you may need additional approvals to process such kind of a request, right? So there is an optional step in case you wanted to have additional approvals before you start working on it. And once you start working on it, this is the step where we go and assign the task to the PDR action owners, who are the system owners managing various systems where the data resides, and they can complete the task as per the SLA is defined in the entire process, and once they respond back within the time, then the PDR agent would be able to reply back to the requester saying that the request has been fulfilled within the time. So this is how the overall flow would look like. We'll quickly show you how this entire solution would come together as part of the product. So we'll switch to the demo. So like I mentioned, we have a dedicated workspace. So over here, you get to see we have something called personal data rights as the workspace, and this workspace provides you various details such as where the attention needed right by the PDR team. In this case, how many are overdue, how many requests are coming in, how many of them are new, and all of that. And what are the different types of requests that are coming in, and as well as from whom are we getting these requests, as well as the status of those requests from a workflow point of view, and as well as the trend report on how many requests are we receiving on regular basis on an overall monthly scale. Not just requests, but also the tasks, right? The tasks that are assigned to the PDR data owners who are managing the data at the end of the day. How are they performing on their tasks? Are there any overdue tasks? Because this would give us an indication whether the request timeline is going to be missed out, right? So tracking all of those aspects and the workflow states, you get to see that here. How do we create a request? Like I mentioned, it can be an API call. So from an API directly, a new request can be created, or it can be created manually as well, wherein maybe over a phone call or when the request comes in, you will be able to take such a request and take the needed details. Let's see how a typical request would look like. Getting into one of the requests, picking one of it, let's say in this case, data deletion. So over here, you'll be able to capture the source from which it has come through. This can be manually selected as well. Provide the details about the name, description, what regulation this is associated with, and also what is the requester name and the requester type, from which location we are receiving the request, and as well as the request type. And these request types can be configured how we want based on the list, and also the requester email details and all of that. If you're doing user validation in a manual fashion, then you can also opt specifically which is the validation that you have chosen. Once the request is taken, what we can also do is we can go and we can generate the tasks for the data admins and owners who would be working on this particular task, right? So as a PDR agent, I can go here and I can click on the generate tasks. And what would happen behind the scenes is that it will go look at who are the admins relevant from a customer data standpoint. It will look at a specific registry, and based on that registry, it is going to generate tasks. And I'm going to show you the registry as well quite in a short bit. So for now, when I click on generate task, you can provide additional comments and the tasks would be generated right here. So as you may see here, various tasks are generated for across various IT assets and also to various owners who needs to work on it. Let's understand how this entire thing has happened, right? For that, what I will do is I will duplicate this tab and quickly show you a data registry functionality, which will capture who are the owners and what kind of data they are managing. All of that can be maintained in a registry, and that registry is what I'm going to show you. In this case, when I come here, here is the data registry where you can maintain and you can create new and maintain this, saying that here are all the various assets that you're dealing with, who are the personas whom we are dealing with as part of this particular IT assets, right? And who are the owners. It could be a group, it could be a user, it could be a named user, or it could be a dynamic user who is associated with respective asset in the CMDB, right? Based on this particular registry configuration, when we click on the generate task on the PDR request, various request got generated across IT assets where only customer reference has been provided because the request is coming from a customer, and task owners have been provided. As you may notice, all of them are in the draft mode, so it can we can click all of them if needed and assign it, or review individually and go assign these tasks individually as well. And these tasks are generated based on a template configuration. So I'm going to go to configurations, also show you how these configurations would work. So if I go to one of the tasks here, you can templatize a task by providing what is the default name of the task, what is the description, what is the priority for it, and also and these values are picked based on the registry and provide the due date and all of that, right? And you will be able to assign these tasks. So that's how you can quickly assign the tasks, and end of the day, once the tasks are completed, you can email to the user based on how the tasks are completed. So this is where you get to the scenario of coming to a request. You can go and you can respond to a requester saying, here is how we have addressed your details. If you want, you can templatize those emails as well, so that from these templates you can auto-populate the content and then send these emails to the user. And all those emails are again tracked as part of the main personal data rights request record itself. So as you may see here, you will also see certain notifications and all of those things already got triggered and that are being sent to the user. For example, in this case, an email was sent to the requester the moment a request was accepted. In this, as a simple template, an email was sent. Similarly, when a request got created, it was assigned to a group by anyone. We picked it up, and when Josh picked it up, he also got a notification that he started working on this particular request as an email, right? So again, these emails templates are configurable, so you will be able to manage these email templates using the usual platform functionalities. So that's on the personal data rights quick overview, where if I just go back to the flow once again, once the request comes in, there are various workflow steps with which you're addressing the request. And at some point in time, you're also assigning it to action owners, and action owners are working on the respective tasks. And based on the responses that are coming in, ultimately, you can send an email request to the requester saying that the request has been fulfilled. And overall, we have provided homepage reports for you to quickly track the overall operations related to personal data rights. On the configuration front, we would like to quickly show you how things are. So I'm logging in as an admin, going to the personal data rights. And when I open the request type, here is where you get to see all the configuration aspects related to this particular functionality. As you may see here, there are two state models that are provided, which means these are the ones that are controlling the workflows related to each of these. This is for the data rights request, this is for the action task, so you can change the workflow states accordingly. The inbound email is again the configuration which will help you to take a request or create a request based on the inbound email configuration that was done. And also there are substates that you can define, and these substates also can be configured based on specific jurisdiction. For instance, if when I say right to opt out as one of the scenario, we can say that right to opt out is only applicable for specific jurisdictions. So only when the location field, which means if I just go back here, open the task, one of the existing record to showcase what I was saying. Let me pick the same old record, go to this details. So based on the location that was selected, what request type should be shown can be configured with this particular option. So only when respective jurisdictions are selected, then the respective subtypes are shown as part of the PDR request. Oh, let me go back to my PDR request. And also you can have assignment rules in case you have various groups, then you will be able to map which request needs to be routed to which group based on the request type or various conditions that are coming in. So there are a set of configurations that are provided to manage your workflows and also to manage your subtypes and configurations related to it. Also, the view rules helps you to manage your entire form view, which where you wanted to highlight for a specific request type, you wanted to hide and show fields, or you wanted to have specific view, then you can configure those rules right here, and also assignment rules in case you have multiple groups. So those are the quick configurations overview on the personal data rights as an overall feature. So let me pause here for a minute and see if there are any specific questions related to the overall personal data rights solution.
We do have a couple that have come in so far. Can I configure email content that is being sent to the requester?
Yes, absolutely. Email content is something that definitely you can configure. And like I've showed, when you open up the email right here, let's say if I go to the personal data request and go to a compose email, you will be able to see the email templates right from here. And you can, if there is an email content, you can insert that email content and take things forward. So that is pretty much an option.
Great. How can I get the personal data rights workspace?
So there are specific roles that that needs to be assigned. So if I go back and talk about the roles here, we have provided dedicated roles, and some of these roles, when you refer in the documentation, they'll be assigned with the personal data rights workspace. Privacy team will have, meaning the privacy rules will already have those roles embedded in them by default. But in case you wanted to dedicatedly give this workspace roles, that also is a possibility.
Great. Next, are there any plans to have playbooks for the privacy app, just to make it simple and lean from the user experience point of view?
Absolutely, absolutely. Playbooks are one of the next user experience enhancements that we're going to pick up as part of our roadmap. So that's going to be considered as one of the major focus elements in the coming roadmap items.
Excellent. Keep those questions coming, guys. This is great information. Why not combine the PDR space and privacy workplace space as a new page instead for easy navigation?
Absolutely. That's a great feedback. Definitely, yes. There are plans to connect how do we get to the personal data rights from the privacy workspace itself. But for now, we have provided it separate so that in case there are front-end agents who are going to work on personal data requests, but not the privacy team from the legal department or from the respective privacy department, right? To separate out from a security aspects, we have provided a dedicated workspace, but we have plans of taking some of these reports, critical reports, placing it in the privacy workspace itself so that there is a visibility right there on the privacy workspace. And also there's a navigation directly from there to this one. Excellent questions.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Keep them coming.
Yeah. So in the meantime, please ask the questions whatever we have. But however, I would like to cover one more functionality. I'm just going back to the agency aspect over here. What I mentioned is the privacy regulatory agency library. Would like to quickly give you a preview of this particular feature, and any other questions that you have across all the features, please do ask in the questions. So for that, the whole idea of providing a privacy regulatory agency is to have a track of regulators whom we need to be in connect at regular intervals, right? Be it a privacy case or be it a privacy regulation that we are working on. In case we wanted to contact regulators, this is going to be the option for us to have an interaction with them. The way it works is if I go to the privacy workspace, on the privacy workspace, we have provided an option called agency. Under yeah, regulatory information, agencies. And over here, you get to see various agencies that can be configured. Let's assume if I pick one of the agency as, let's say, for now, European Union. Here you can configure what is this agency all about, who are the regulatory contacts, right? And what jurisdictions they govern, and what kind of authority documents that are associated with it. And in case you wanted to have any communication with the regulator, then you can also have that communication using the email capability, right? So this is a way for us to interact with the regulator in any specific scenario, such as there's a privacy breach or there's a regulatory inquiry that needs to be made. This can be the place where we can maintain the overall communication aspects for a given privacy regulation. So this is also embedded as part of our current Xenado release. With that, if I quickly go back to the overall solution, overall features that we have released as part of Xenado, a quick walkthrough. Like I said, data lineage is one where we are having a functionality of understanding how the data is coming, from where it is coming, where it's going to across various systems. That is one functionality. Regulatory agencies, you just saw, it's a repository of maintaining agencies or regulators, and having an option to communicate with them and track that communication in one single place for future references as well. And the new chat experience where you can initiate conversations quickly to close out on various contacts, such as be it a privacy assessment, be it a processing activity, or a privacy case, or even personal data rights for that matter. If there are specific discussions between the PDR agent and as well as the data owners needs to be resolved quickly, we can quickly just open up a discussion and then close out on those questions, right? And overall, the personal data rights as a solution that you saw to make sure how we can address DSAR use case as part using personal data rights functionality. So these are the highlights of the Xenado release. I will open up the floor for any further questions.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Pramod. I'm very, very excited about these personal data rights. DSARs can be a handful. So any way that we can bring efficiency and streamline those processes is greatly appreciated. So excited to see how this is going to help all of our customers manage all of these different requests. So great demo. Thank you so much. Again, want to open it up to the floor for any other questions you might have. I'm going to share my screen real quick. All right. So let's open it up for any Q&A. First off, great demo. Thank you so much. And feel free to type in any other questions that you may have. While we're going through, just a quick reminder that today's session is being recorded and will be up on the community forum as well as our YouTube channel within the next 48 hours. So I know we went through a lot today. We went through it fairly quickly. So if you want to reference back to anything, we will get that here for you. Check this out, do the QR codes. I will also put the link to the YouTube channel in the chat today. And we also have a running blog up on the community forum that has all of our upcoming webinars, our industry events, so you can come see us. We also do a bunch of live workshops around risk and compliance. And audit management. So feel free to check those out. Join us. We'll be coming to a town near you and would love to see you. Looks like we are good with the questions. Well done, Pramod. Thank you so much. And everyone, have a wonderful rest of your day or evening, and we'll see you at the next one. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Have a great day.